Um, I don't have to show it to you, and why?
If you leave right now, you don't have to show it to me. He's asked you to leave, so technically
He doesn't
you've already...
have the authority.
He does.
I run the building.
It was supposed to be a routine call for officers on October 20th, 2024. A facility manager reported a woman trespassing in a restricted area of a public facility. But what started as a simple request to leave quickly escalated into a chaotic confrontation where one woman refused to accept the rules. When officers arrived, they found the woman working in an area that wasn't open to the public. But instead of complying, she decided to argue. She insisted that because the gate was open and the area was part of a public park, she had every right to be there. Despite being told otherwise, she stood her ground, refusing to acknowledge the officer's authority.
It's my understanding this gentleman's asked you to leave. Is that a problem?
I don't think I have to, right?
Yeah, you do have to.
Based on what?
Based on this being private property.
It's not. It's public.
It's not.
It is public. It's owned by the city. It's held
That
by
doesn't
your
mean it's open to the public, especially
Actually,
right now.
It's part of the park, which is why it's open to the public even right now.
Not this area. This area is clearly fenced in.
The fence was open so that you could get in. And I've worked here on several nights. The security guy knows that I come here and work, and it's never
that
been
doesn't
an
mean
issue.
it. I understand that. It might have been okay in the past. Can I see your ID real quick?
I don't have to show it to you, and why?
If you leave right now, you don't have to show it to me. He's asked you to leave, so technically
He doesn't
you've already...
have the authority.
He does.
I run the building.
Even after the facility's technical director stepped in and explained that the space was closed to the public, the woman wouldn't budge. He clarified that the area may be part of the park, but access was restricted. The officers backed him up, informing her that she had already been asked to leave multiple times, but she still refused, acting as if the rules didn't apply to her.
Opinion on
It's
it?
okay.
I know it is public property. I know that if you look it up, you'll see that it's public property.
No.
This is closed. You can tell it has a lock on it, not going in, kind of like the library, right? But this isn't. And there's a
So
huge
if the library's
difference
doors
there.
are locked, if the library's doors are locked and you go inside and you refuse to leave, is that trespassing in your mind?
At this point, the officers gave her one last chance to walk away without consequences. But instead of listening, she doubled down, convinced that her interpretation of the rules overrode reality. What started as a simple warning was about to turn into a lesson she wouldn't forget. The officers remained patient, but they knew what was next. And as the situation escalated, it became clear that this entitled woman was about to learn the hard way: you don't get to make the rules.
That's a warning. So you've already been warned and you're still here. You can be arrested for that. I don't want to have to
This
arrest
is
you.
public property. This guy's threatening me. Would you please call your supervisor? Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you very much. Let's
Okay.
do that now.
The situation could have ended peacefully, but this woman wasn't interested in cooperation. When the officers asked for her ID, she flatly refused. They made it clear, if she left immediately, she wouldn't have to show any identification. But instead of taking the easy way out, she chose to argue, insisting that she had every right to stay. Still convinced that she was in the right, she took things a step further by demanding to speak with a supervisor. She believed that a higher authority would back her up, giving her an excuse to stay. One of the officers agreed to call a supervisor but never followed through, likely because the situation was already clear. Despite this, she waited, convinced that her request would change the outcome. Time passed, but no supervisor arrived. The officers had already given her multiple chances to leave, and it was obvious that she wasn't going to comply. After several warnings, they had no choice but to take action. When the officers moved to arrest her for trespassing, things escalated fast. She resisted, arguing that the arrest was unlawful. She continued to insist that the area was public property, ignoring all the explanations she had been given. But at this point, her words didn't matter. The officers had given her every opportunity to leave, and her refusal to cooperate had consequences. As the situation unfolded, it became clear that this entitled woman was about to learn a tough lesson. She thought she could bend the rules to her will, but reality had other plans. The officers had been patient, but now they were simply doing their job. And in the end, the law spoke louder than her stubbornness.
Saying that it might have been okay in the past. Can I see your ID real quick?
I don't have to show it to you, and why?
If you leave right now, you don't have to show it to me. He's asked you to leave, so technically you've already...
The authority.
He does.
I run the building.
He does have the authority.
What's your? I thought you said you were the tech guy. That sounds.
I'm the technical director. I run the building.
Even after her arrest, the drama didn't stop. During the search, she loudly complained about being handled inappropriately, accusing the officers of misconduct. She kept demanding a supervisor, still convinced that someone in higher authority would side with her. But her complaints didn't change the fact that she was in custody. As the search continued, she finally handed over an ID, but that didn't solve the problem. The officers had doubts about whether it was valid. Instead of cooperating further, she chose silence. She cited her right to remain silent and refused to answer any more questions. The officers made it clear, if she didn't properly identify herself, she could face obstruction charges. But that warning fell on deaf ears.
Ma'am, I don't know why you want to talk to the supervisor.
I'm searching you.
I'm not used to people grabbing my boobs.
I didn't grab your boobs. I'm searching you.
Well, you need to tell me when
Okay.
you're putting your hands on my chest.
Right now you're under arrest.
I understand. Oh,
Okay.
you told me you were going to call your supervisor.
Hey.
Everything, because I was waiting for you
Come on.
to contact your supervisor.
Let's have a seat.
You said he was coming or she was coming.
Oh,
I'm supposed to be able to take your word for it.
Thank
you And I can't.
very
Why? I know that was a joke.
Ha
Funny,
ha
right?
ha. Please sit down. There's just too many words. Thank you. Yes. God bless America.
Hey, ma'am, will you give me your name?
I'd like you to call your supervisor.
Okay, you have to give me your name. If you don't give me your name, I'm going to charge you with obstruction.
My name on that ID that you just picked up. It has my
Where's
name
your?
on
Do
it.
you have a photo ID?
Just rummage through my belongings without my permission. You have no right to go through my stuff. She's hoping. It's almonds! You can tell her it's
Christine
almonds.
Scott?
I keep the bags. I have given you my I didn't actually give it to you. You took it. Never going through my stuff. You guys are terrible. If his supervisor can hear this, I have asked.
The situation took another turn when she started quoting legal statutes. She insisted that her arrest was unlawful and referenced Florida statutes about trespassing and public property access. She argued that the officers had no legal authority to remove her and that her rights were being trampled. But legal jargon and defiance weren't going to undo her arrest. As things escalated, her emotions boiled over. She became more aggressive, her tone filled with frustration and anger. She accused the officers of stealing her belongings and called them corrupt, adding insult after insult. But by this point, her words had no impact. The officers had been patient, giving her multiple chances to comply, but she refused to take any of them. She was now facing not only trespassing charges, but also potential obstruction and resisting arrest. Her attempts to manipulate the situation had failed, and her entitlement had only led her deeper into trouble. What started as a simple request to leave had spiraled into a full-blown arrest, and now she was learning the hard way that the law doesn't bend to personal opinions.
You have to give me that. You're under arrest.
I don't know. I want.
Are you
I
kidding
want
me?
my lawyer.
Are you kidding
I
me?
want my lawyer. I'm serious, and I want my lawyer.
You have to identify yourself.
You have my ID in your
This,
hand.
I don't know that this is you.
This guy has his ID in my hand. You put this here.
I don't
so
know that this is
can be
you.
recorded.
And this
I
name
don't-
that it says on here is Christine Scott. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but there's probably 20 Christine Scotts within 5 miles of us.
Did I tell you?
You did not
that
give me
I
your
asked
social. You
for
did not give me a middle
lawyer?
name. You did not give me your address.
Not
I'm charging you with
give-
obstruction.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I will.
No kidding. You're not very nice. I want
I tried
your
to be nice.
supervisor, jerk.
Where's...
So, I want you to call your supervisor now. It is how it works.
Even as the officers escorted her to the police vehicle, she didn't stop protesting. She kept insisting that she was being unlawfully detained and continued demanding a supervisor. But at this point, her words carried no weight. The officers had followed protocol and given her every opportunity to leave, but she chose defiance over compliance. The situation boiled down to a simple misunderstanding, one that the woman refused to acknowledge. While the area was a public park, the specific section where she was trespassing was closed to the public. Officers had confirmed jurisdiction to enforce trespass laws. Failure to comply with the minor warning provoked an arrest. Her conduct culminated in multiple charges of trespassing, resisting arrest, and obstruction. Instead, what could have easily been solved with an exit ticket escalated due to her perception of being above the rules. This case is a harsh reminder that understanding a law is as important as enforcing one's rights. When a sense of entitlement clouds one's judgment, it can lead to consequences no one wants to face.
Your
There's
supervisor.
a Christine Scott.
N-O.
I've been going through...
False arrest.
Fake news.
No, that's real news.
Fake news.
Really?
Yes.
No sign says I can't be there. Not a one.
Okay.
And this park is open till midnight.
Is there...
False arrest.
That's not a part of the park.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
it
not.
Absolutely
Why
is.
do you think there's
the
big-
Ruth Eckert Hall contracts with the park and with the city? It is most certainly part of the lookup planning and lookup zoning. It is.
I've been
too.
here since the ground broke at this park.
I don't care.
Well,
That doesn't mean it's not part of the park. It
Yes,
just
it
means that you're
does.
ignorant to the law on this fact. That's all, Miss Stealing My Stuff. I'm glad you think that's funny. I
did
don't.
you know the Yankees are going to the World
I
Series?
can care less.
Have you been to the Pinellas County Jail before?
I don't answer questions.
Doesn't answer questions.
I already asked for a lawyer. I want a lawyer.
Tall one at the jail.
And once I ask you for a lawyer, you need to stop asking me.
What do you think about this situation? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening stories about real-life situations that teach valuable lessons. Thanks for watching.